Do you have hair on your head when you take this picture?
What you
took the picture. So again, have you used FaceTime to speak with Thug?
I don't recall. I do not know.
I'd be real careful about what you're pleading at this point in time, what you're stating to the court. I just, as a matter of professional responsibility, and I would be very careful if I were you. Tread lightly, okay, in terms of that at this point.
Day 90 of the Young Thug YSL RICO trial was intense. Woody testifies again, and he has shown footage of him snitching to detectives. Judge Glanville addresses the motion of recusal with Mr. Weinstein, and things get heated. Take a wild guess on what the judge did later on in this video. You'll see. Hit subscribe. Here we go. Alright, so Thugger Daily tweeted out, Brian Steele's emergency motion for bond has been transferred to the Supreme Court of Georgia. The Court of Appeals says because the underlying case is a criminal prosecution with a murder count, the Supreme Court of Georgia has jurisdiction. And then update, Brian Steele has been granted supersedeas bond by the Supreme Court of Georgia. He will not need to go to jail while waiting for his contempt order to be appealed. So not a good look for Judge Glanville here. Everyone is pretty much of the other opinion. It's very clear the judge was out of line and got emotional the other day, but let's go with the court footage. First look at Thug on day 90. Got a nice button-up one, looking like Santa Claus. There's Woody in a blue sweatshirt, Los Angeles Dodgers sweater. Interesting decision here.
All right. Do you know someone by the name of Marquavius Huey?
No.
Do you know someone named Quay?
I know a lot of Quays.
Okay. Do you see any of the Quays that you know in the courtroom today?
Yeah.
Huey's right here, Quay.
Can you identify him?
Where he's sitting right there, like, I don't know what color it is he got on.
All right. You said over there. Is he sitting? Is it the man with the gray and cream jacket? Did you ever speak with Quay on FaceTime?
I can't recall if I have.
Would you give Quay advice?
Would I give Quay advice?
Yes.
What that for to me?
Have you advised Quay on individuals he should or should not hang around with?
I probably have.
So she's bringing up the interrogation footage from 2021 where Woody snitched, and I believe he says in it at some point he advised Marquavius right here in the courtroom not to hang around Young Thug. I think he was saying that it was like dangerous to hang around Thug.
I told Quay that I have a personal problem with Young Thug.
Did you advise him on whether or not he should hang around Young Thug?
I thought I just answered it. Me, Ted, and Lil D.
Mr. Copeland, you know who you are. If you can tell the jurors who is Tick and who is Little D. Copeland, who is Tick?
In the middle.
All right. And then Little D, the one with the Dallas Cowboys sweatshirt.
If this me, this Ted, they got no choice but to be Lil D.
Earlier you talked about another Little D that you called your son. Is this the same Little D?
Do they look like the same Lil D?
I'm asking you a question, Mr. Copeland. Is it the same Little D?
No.
How do you distinguish this Little D from the other Little D?
They look like two different people.
When you are addressing or talking about them, how do you distinguish the two Little Ds from each other?
What you mean?
Do you call one of them Little D from Cleveland?
If you ask me which Lil D I'm talking about.
And that's what I'm asking you. When you are
But
talking
you should
about
ask me that.
Mr. Copeland, which Little D, how do you describe him if you're talking about him? If you're talking about the two Little Ds, how do you distinguish this Little D?
I just said he Lil D from Cleveland Avenue.
Do you have hair on your head when you take this picture?
What you
You took the picture.
He seems pissed that she called out about him being bald. She said, did you have hair in your head?
It looked like I got hair on my head.
Okay. How long ago have you been bald?
He is pissed.
When I got out of prison.
So this is before you went into prison.
This is an old picture.
And that's what I need to know. Thank you very much.
Why did she just violate him like that?
How long have you known Little D from Cleveland?
Huh?
How long have you known Little D from Cleveland?
Know who?
How long have you known Little D from Cleveland?
I know him back in I think I met him in 2013.
Has there ever been a time that you had Little D purchase a gun for you?
My federal case?
Is there a time that you...
I said my federal case.
And when you say your federal case, what do you mean?
The case they sent me to the feds.
What are you talking about for the jury?
I'm answering your question.
I understand. You're saying your federal case that they send you to the feds. What does that have to do with Little D purchasing a gun for you?
The homicide investigator told me that I had the rights to protect myself. So I believe the way he said, got a gun to protect myself.
And how did you get that gun?
I paid someone to go, I paid Lil D to go get it.
Do you know someone by the name of Antonio Sledge?
No.
Do you know someone who goes by the name of Mounk Tounk?
Yes.
How long have you known Mounk Tounk?
I don't know what year I met him.
Mounk Tounk took a plea deal, and in his plea, he agreed that he knows YSL members killed Donovan Thomas and that they met at the McDonald's and shit.
So Mounk Tounk?
Yes.
Yeah.
How do you met Mounk Tounk?
I was about to do something to him.
What were you about to do?
Beat him up.
Why were you about to beat him up?
Because he was in the wrong business.
After you were about to beat him up, did you somehow develop a friendship with Mounk Tounk?
Somebody else called me to protect him.
When did you get a call in order to have to protect Mounk Tounk? If you're talking about you met him before 2013 and you're about to beat him up, when did you get a call to have to protect him?
The same day.
And have you ever FaceTime with Mounk Tounk? Back, I'm talking about late 2014, January 2015.
I don't, not that I know of.
So she's still talking about interrogation footage questions.
There's me and Mounk Tounk.
And who's the other person?
Shannon.
All right. And is Big Boo still alive?
He said, is he still alive?
Did he pass away?
No, he was killed.
What made you think that Bentley was Thug's manager?
So what made me think that?
Yes.
From my observation, that's what it looked like.
Do you know someone by the name of Alexis Greer?
No.
What about someone by the name of Max?
Yeah.
Okay. How do you know Max?
She his sister.
Who's the he sister that you're referencing?
Young Thug's sister.
Does she go by any other name besides Max?
Dolly?
Have you ever considered her a friend of yours?
Yes.
Do you know someone by the name of Duke?
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 Yes.
Okay. How do you know Duke?
I've been around a lot.
And when you say a lot, is that recently or back in 20?
Back in days.
This is before you went to prison in 2015?
Yes.
Defense lawyers are objecting to this video too, it says.
My attire for the day, you know, it's sliding on any boyfriend. You can get it. Got my young with me. You dig what I'm saying? Just gonna do it, I would do it. Gotta like production. Hi.
I think they're just trying to show affiliation. Maybe someone threw up some gang signs or something.
Was that it? Yes. All right, Mr. Steele, do you have an objection, sir? What's the basis, sir?
Reason that's being sought to be admitted under what grounds? I'm going to object to cumulative if it's association. I'm going to object to relevance because I don't know what the relevance of saying this is the
I was just saying that. I was like, it doesn't really show much in the video. It's kind of pointless.
attire for the day, and then there's commentary.
On what basis for the words?
It's a social media posting on a person's account, which this court pronounced Scarfax, and it's not Jeffrey Williams' account. He didn't write those words. There are unknown people on some of them. Scarfax, as this court pronounced it, is Demikian Garland. Of course, the reason I say cumulative, there's been detectives with an S who said who are allegedly in association here on the indictment. There's been other witnesses.
Detectives with a S, like show. There's been multiple detectives.
Identifying people who are part of the indictment that allegedly are part of a crime conspiracy. This witness has already said who he associates with and identified a series of pictures. There's other, numerous, I don't know the number, but there's numerous pictures showing associations. I just don't know when there's enough. I've objected to cumulative. I'm going to give you a continuing objection. But at some point, this seems like a waste of time in the court.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, State wish to respond.
Mr. Williams, Mr. Copeland, Mr. Arnold are in this video, and it shows their association together. We have pictures, but this is them. Oh, and Dolly White, who we've heard about as far as the Lil Wayne bus shooting, and we should hear more about Miss White as the rest of this particular act develops, Your Honor. And again, this shows that that's a contradiction to that this is Mr. Williams in his home, it appears, or someone's home, let me say that, and it shows the nature of their relationship. And so we think that it's relevant. It's not cumulative, Your Honor, because this is not new. This is not the same evidence as the picture. This is different evidence. One is a video.
I'm going to admit States 347.
Of course you are. Of course you're going to admit it, even though it's cumulative, and clearly we already know the relationship's established.
I've sustained it as a hearsay, but I'm going to admit it's relevant, and it's not cumulative at this point. So,
Your Honor, there's not a case I can find that a person in Mr. Arnold's position would be a party opponent. He has cut a agreement that this court sentenced him under, and he is no longer a party here. So
he's still on the indictment, though, right?
Yeah. So I can't find any case that says the fact that a human being, an indictment is hearsay. It is the district attorney's allegations. It is total rank hearsay under Brown versus State. So I disagree strongly, and I just can't find it. If someone has it and I'm wrong, I want to learn. But I can't find anything that supports what the state says. Now, this is a statement of a party opponent.
I mean, I agree with Mr. Steele, but this is one step further because he's not a party opponent. Yes, it's a little absurd to say he's a party opponent to the state right now. He signed a plea deal with the state to testify. He signed declarations written by the state. He's not a party opponent, but more importantly, while he is on the indictment is no longer pending against him. He has resolved the case.
But I don't think that makes a difference as to whether or not, I mean, you can still be on the indictment, you can resolve your case, and conversation still could be, theoretically admissible.
The time runs out in the fourth quarter. The other team's no longer your opponent. He does not have a pending case. There's nothing going on.
While that may be true.
And there's no
While that may be true, but I still think a statement can be used for other purposes.
We have a target on our heads. It's not an accusation, okay? That's not something that would clearly elicit the response of Mr. Kendrick. Oh, well, hold on. You're saying something about me, so let me clear that up. That's what adoptive admissions are. You say something and then about me, and then I have to clear it up, or it's assumed that I agree with it. That's not even close to what adoptive admissions are.
All right.
Defense is objecting to a video of Duke coming in where he apparently says we got a target on our back, but actually he says we got turbans on our head. So the state is wrong.
Considered a co-conspirator statement as a part of the larger conspiracy of the gang of YSL. We believe the beef between YSL and If gang is beginning to arise and heat up. And so the fact that he says we have a target on our back, we will argue is YSL, and the hour is the YSL, and therefore this statement could come in to show the larger conspiracy, which would be the gang conspiracy as well.
A co-conspirator statement, it would have to be in furtherance of the conspiracy. There's nothing about that statement that would indicate at all that is furthering any conspiracy.
But that's a jury question.
Well, no, it's not.
Remember what I told you earlier during the trial of this proceeding. At this point in time, there is evidence that's been presented by the state to show that there potentially may be a conspiracy. So as a result, that's kind of the entry. So I believe at this point in time that may fall into the category of whether or not a conspiracy has been shown. Now, whether or not the jury believes that, buys it, they've proven it.
It's just going to confuse them because I'm sure it's going to come out that he doesn't actually say that.
In furtherance of the conspiracy, and you as a gatekeeper judge,
well,
have to make that determination.
I've determined that that's made. And
anything from those words, there's no context.
They've made an argument. You disagree, and I'm gonna rule in their favor. And again, the jury ultimately will decide that issue.
We have a target on that does not go to potentially anything based upon that 17-second video or 10 seconds. It is so out of context. We don't know what they're talking about.
But it's part of the state's evidence in this case. Ms. Hilton, you want to respond to that?
You're right. So it shows a show of force. Like they collectively are bragging about whatever target that they have on their back and has put this on social media as a show of force. We got a target on our backs, whether they care or not.
This case seems to be a shit ton of reaches. It's almost like they don't have any real evidence like phone tracking or DNA or anything. They literally just have video proof of people self-snitching and then people snitching. And I guess they don't really need DNA and phone tracking because it is a conspiracy case for a gang. But the more this trial goes on, the more I fucking hate the RICO charge. Kind of outdated.
Play that one more time. It sounds like they may be saying we have turbans on our head, not targets on our head.
That's what the defense brought up. That's what Mr. Shard said that it said. So we quoted it from what Mr. Shard says. I assume they all talked about it together before.
If it's misleading, that's another reason.
It's misleading. It's going to confuse the jury. They just point out the turbans on their head finally. We have turbans on our head. He says that. He literally says we have turbans on our head. He does not say we have a target on our back.
We got turbans on our head.
We got turbans on our head. So
Okay.
the we is the we.
All right. Okay. Well, I'm gonna admit it and let the jury consider for what it's worth.
So he's going to admit it and let the jury get confused. Okay, great.
Have you ever called Young Thug using FaceTime?
Nope.
Is that your testimony here today?
I don't remember calling him on FaceTime.
Okay. Do you recall in June of 2015 having an interview with the Atlanta Police Department?
Yes.
He's probably a little nervous about this June 2015 interview because I'm sure he snitched a little bit.
And I still by my head hurt.
Yeah, you can step out.
Oh, here we go. His head hurts right when all his snitching stuff's about to come to light. I got a few comments, people saying that I would snitch. Yes, I've said that several times. I'm a civilian. I will snitch on your ass. So I'm not a gang member.
Ladies and gentlemen, jury, it might be appropriate at this point in time that we take lunch.
Like always, the judge needs his goddamn Big Mac.
District attorney wants to use for impeachment. We're not showing just to the witness listening closely. It's going to be broadcast. Court allowed that in. But they're playing like a 2-second snippet. The issue is that you have a FaceTime with Jeffrey Williams. What I wanted to alert, and what I said earlier, is it just seems to me to be a tricky way to do it because if you don't shut the recording or start the recording right away, it goes into, we have a problem. I'm not forgetting about this. And these are things that should not go to impeachment for did you call.
4-1 judge is a happier judge, yes.
Telling you, because otherwise I'm just going to approach and say, you know, I don't know why that was played. You'll say, I agree, that's not.
Okay, I understand your concern. All right, so it's on you if it runs over, okay? And Mr. Steele's made it very clear.
So Mr. Steele doesn't want it to run on to clips of his interrogation have other things in it that Steele doesn't want the jury to hear. And of course the state wanted to slip those in there in front of the jury. They've done this before where they're playing shit and they let it play a little bit longer than they said they would for the jury to hear more shit. Hope he took some painkillers to get rid of his headache, you know?
Do you hear yourself when you said you FaceTime Thug?
Say it again.
Did you hear when you said you FaceTime Thug?
I heard I say something. I can't recall what I said.
Dude, why? I've always wondered why the mics in interrogation rooms are terrible.
I have a hearing problem.
Here comes the hearing problem again.
You called Thug on FaceTime for Kel.
Your ear better than mine.
Did you hear you say Thug FaceTime me back?
Your ear better than mine.
So she's impeaching her own witness to make him look like a liar, and a lot of his testimony just to show that he is playing dumb. I still feel like it shoots them in the foot and just makes them look bad and unorganized and not good for a jury.
So again, have you used FaceTime to speak with Thug?
I don't recall.
Have you previously told investigators why you understand people to use FaceTime? The reason why your friend group uses FaceTime?
Objection calls for speculation.
I'm gonna rule objection. Or put it this way, subject to more foundation.
Why do you use FaceTime?
I don't use FaceTime.
Have you ever used FaceTime?
Objection asked and answered.
Have you ever used FaceTime?
People have FaceTime me.
And when people have FaceTime you, is there a preferred reason why you have used FaceTime?
I be thinking people be trying to see where I'm at.
I'll sustain this as speculation at this point.
Have you told investigators why you and others use FaceTime?
I'm gonna rule the objection.
I would imagine it's because they want to see who's with you in case you're trying to snitch or something.
You said, did I meet with them? Or did they drag me up there?
They dragged me up there. You look pretty comfortable in that chair for 3 hours snitching, brother.
Nah, I'm gonna definitely meet with them up there. And FaceTime them right in your face and let you hear people talk. Because they think FaceTime can't be months, which is stupid. Evidence when they need to talk on FaceTime.
I can't believe how terrible the mic audio is in that interrogation footage, man.
Do you hear yourself when you say, excuse me?
I'll sustain the objection.
I'm glad the judge sustained that because they keep repeating it when it should just be the audio speaks for itself, and they f***ed up having terrible audio.
Did you hear yourself in the video say,
Overruled, gentlemen.
Why is that overruled now? You just sustained it. Now she's about to repeat it.
FaceTime is used because it can't be monitored?
That's what I said.
Did you hear yourself say that in the video?
Oh, it can't be monitored.
I told you I got a hearing problem. You can play it. If I can't put it in my ear, I won't be able to recognize what I said.
Have you ever heard of 30 deep?
You said, have I ever heard of 30 deep?
Yes.
Yeah. What you mean?
How have you heard of that term?
How have I heard of the term 30 deep?
Yes.
Can you ask me in a way I can understand?
Sure. Is 30 deep?
I state the objection.
I have an extra question.
Wow, Ms. Hilton getting tasted of her own medicine. They've objected to the defense before the defense even can ask the question several times.
What is 30 deep?
My neighborhood.
Is 30 deep a gang?
The silence.
Huh?
Is 30 deep a gang?
Is it a game?
Yes, sir.
And what you define as a game? I just know my neighborhood, I was growing up, I used to hear 30 deep a lot. You know, I thought it was cool. I just see and heard people say 30 deep.
Have you ever been a member or an associate of 30 deep?
I don't know what associate mean. Have I ever been around a group of people that identify themselves at 30 deep?
Yes.
I know someone who I guess they say was 30 deep.
Did you ever consider yourself 30 deep?
No.
The victim of an ag assault in which people try to shoot at you.
I stand the objection.
After somebody shot at you, your child, and your child's mother. Do you recall having to go to the Atlanta Police Department to be interviewed for that?
Yes.
What happened there? Okay. And do you recall speaking with a detective during that interview?
Know who I spoke with.
Okay. But do you remember, it doesn't matter, do you remember speaking with a detective about
Yes.
what happened with you? And during the course of that,
No, I don't remember him asking me.
you said to him it's a whole gang.
I stand the objection.
You was 30 deep? Huh? Who were you associated with? And then everything else that rolls about with it.
Did you ever claim affiliation with the Bloods?
Who, me?
Yes, you.
Yeah.
Leave or stop calling yourself a Blood?
You said that I stopped calling myself a blood?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When was that?
2015.
Do you have a 5-point star tattoo?
It don't have nothing to do with blood, though.
Okay. Do you have a 5-point star tattoo?
Yeah.
How many of them do you have?
A lot.
Is Shannon wearing red?
Yeah.
And is that's DB in the middle? Does DB have on a red hat?
Yeah.
Okay. The way that DB has his hands with thumbs together and his middle and pointer finger up, what is that? What, if anything, does that mean?
It ain't me. You ain't gonna never see me throwing it up. I don't know.
Do you know that to be the symbol for SMM?
I do not know.
Okay. Is that a red bandana on your right ankle?
Yes.
Okay. Why do you have a red bandana on your right ankle?
Because I wanted to wear it on my right ankle.
Okay. Does that have anything to do with the Bloods wearing red on the right side of their body?
Oh, I don't know.
I mean, he's clearly lying, right?
What is your hand symbolizing?
Zone 3.
Is that not a C and K for Crip Killer?
Who hand? You see my hand?
Your hand.
Can you zoom in so she can see the picture? There you go.
Okay, so is that not a C and a K for Crip Killer?
It's me throwing up zone 3. You see the 3?
All right.
Okay, so you got ABG. Yes. But it was in 2000. I had went to jail in 2000.
Do you hear when he actually, you left ABG, you said yes.
He asked me what?
Did you leave ABG?
I don't think that was said. Objection.
Miss Love leaning back, getting pissed, bro. With how terrible the audio quality is, you really can barely tell anything.
I can't hear it no matter how many times you play it.
So they suddenly just had an hour-long break, and now we're back. Don't know why.
Mr. Weinstein, you filed a
Motion to recuse Judge Glanville. This is him responding. Here we go, baby.
motion to recuse me. You filed an affidavit. The court's had an opportunity to read your motion. I've also had an opportunity to take a look at, because this issue comes up a fair bit. 229 Georgia Appeals 691. Basically, you can't file a motion to recuse for ruling that a trial judge makes, okay? And that's what you're doing in this particular situation. You're saying you don't like what I ruled upon. You're alleging some facts in an affidavit that support that decision. Because if that were the case, then no trial judge would be able to sit through a trial and give adverse rulings. So for the reasons set forth in Baptiste and other cases, I'm going to deny your motion to recuse on its face.
Absolutely insane. Another judge should be looking at this motion.
I disagree with your characterization that I filed a motion as a result of any ruling.
No. Well, you did in your affidavit. I'm taking in your affidavit as face value. Okay. All right. I'm not contesting where you got the information from. At least not yet.
Yes.
I'm just saying that because it also encompasses that I made a ruling. And as a result of that, if I make a ruling and you don't like it, then every litigant will say, I want to recuse you, Judge Smith or Judge Glanville or Judge whoever. Okay. So remember, bias. I've got to do something extrajudicial, and in your particular.
You met with the state's witness and coerced him to testify. Is that not bias? You threatened him to be in jail for years on end until everyone else is on trial.
I have to say something about you or your clients or anything like that, which I would never do because I'm a steward of this particular process. So I understand what your objection is. Or what your statement is in terms of your motion to recuse, and I'm going to deny it.
And I believe, Your Honor, that under Rule 25.3, that you have to cease acting right now.
No, I don't.
If I can just finish, and then I promise Let me just finish this. I believe you have to cease acting. I believe that under 25.3 you have to look at the timeliness of the motion and you have to look at the sufficiency of the affidavit. I do not believe that you are permitted to just simply deny without taking those steps.
Is that it?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
Okay. All right.
You can just hear in his voice he has an attitude about this whole situation. I don't know what to tell you, Judge Glanville. You shouldn't have did an ex parte conversation with the state's sworn witness.
No, dude.
Are you denying at this point?
I'm still denying the motion. Okay.
Would you grant a certificate of immediate review?
No, sir.
Because
No, sir.
if you grant that certificate, you were always talking about how the appellate...
No, because if I grant the certificate, it stops the case. Okay.
I don't agree with
And
that.
I'm not going to do that.
I don't believe it stops the case.
I'm not going to do that.
And if
You can appeal it at the end of the case. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Hey, I'll live by it.
But aren't you interested in removing the cloud that's hanging over the case right now, Your Honor?
Are you interested in removing the cloud that's hanging over the case? Fried him. He's asking him to remove himself. He's called him a cloud.
Sir, I'd be real careful about what you're pleading at this point in time, what you're stating to the court. I just, as a matter of professional responsibility, remember, we haven't nugged out all of the issues involved in that affidavit. And I would be very careful if I were you. You have some professional responsibility obligations individually.
So do you. You shouldn't be meeting with the sworn witness and coercing him to testify. Remember, Judge Glanville? Remember you did that? Remember you threatened him to be in jail for years on end waiting?
I would just leave it at that, respectfully. I don't want to get into an argument with you about that, but I would just tell you that tread lightly, okay, in terms of that at this point.
I understand, Your Honor, and I believe that the certificate of immediate review would be in the interest of the court.
I'm not going to do that.
Would you make factual findings regarding?
I am not at this point in time going to deny the motion, okay?
I believe that's an error, Your Honor.
All right. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right.
Doug Weinstein's a G. I follow him on Twitter. He has a Twitter and he tweets all the time about the trial and how it's a disaster. So shout out Doug Weinstein.
Young Thug had a song that was on the radio and everybody was playing it.
Did you hear YSL through an individual by the name of Tick?
Yes. Well, I didn't. I hear slime through T, not YSL.
All right. Have you ever claimed affiliation as being part of YSL, the gang?
No foundation, and it goes to juries 701. Yeah. Not appropriate to call it a gang. It's a gang of one, not that I object.
Objection to your speaking, objection, Your Honor. And
Well, Mr. Steele, remember I told you not to speak your objection to me, so you need to give me a basis. No, you can do.
Mr. Copeland, have you ever done an interview with a video blogger off the porch in 2020?
Yeah.
In the interview with Off the Porch, do you recall them asking you about YSL and the fact that you talk about YSL a lot in your songs?
What I was supposed to say?
And your response to them was gang?
That what I said?
This interview right here.
And you rap YSL a lot in your music.
Dang. I heard him say I rap YSL a lot.
Did you hear what your response was? Did you hear what your response was?
Yeah, gang.
All right. When you responded gang, what did you mean?
I responded game.
You're saying you didn't say gang, you said game.
Game.
GAME is what you're saying that you said?
Yeah, when he said YSL, game.
So your testimony
Clearly a lie, right? But we can't really tell.
today that you said game and not gang. I'm trying to get clarification. Same video saying slat YSL for life.
What about it?
Did you say that?
Probably so.
When you say slat YSL for life, what are you referencing?
What you mean? I don't know what referencing mean.
When you say YSL for life, are you talking about the music or the gang?
I'm doing an interview with Off the Porch.
Okay.
I'm trying to get into the music, and I was told I had to make people believe in me.
Have you ever been signed to YSL, the record label?
No,
So why would you be repping YSL if you've never been signed to the record label?
because I sent Young Thug my music and tried to convince him that I was trying to go the right way in life and do music.
And he never signed you to the label?
I went back to jail.
But you were never signed to the label?
How could I say this?
So why are you still representing YSL if he wasn't going to put any money in you?
I had to convince that I was serious about the music.
She's trying to show the jury that he wasn't signed to YSL, the record label, so what else would he be repping? Like, clearly he's repping YSL, the gang.
Well, what was my purpose?
Why were you representing YSL before this interview?
You got to be more specific, like clear on what you're saying. You talking about back in the days? You talking about 2020? What are you talking about?
I could never be a district attorney. I don't have the patience for this bullshit. Why is he making the chair squeak, bro? That shit is so loud.
So back in 2014, that you throwing up the YSL sign.
For clout?
So in 2014, you were doing it for clout.
Yeah, I was going around. Everybody say they see me with Thug and Birdman, you know?
All right, that's pretty much it for day 90. The judge is suspect. This isn't going to go well for him. I just see so many defense lawyers on Twitter and people that know a lot more than me freaking out the way he's handling all this. So I don't think he's going to have this job, or I think he's up for re-election or something. So yeah, hit subscribe, follow me on Twitter, Instagram. Love you guys. Peace out.